Hey friends, welcome to Polygon Legends. I'm your host, Serge. So today is a very special day. I just got my broken but brand new POLYMEGA back from PlayMagi. Or is it PlayMagi? PlayMagi. I'm just going to go with PlayMagi. Or is it PlayMagi? So the big question, is the POLYMEGA worth buying and adding to your retro collection? Let's try out some games and you tell me what you think in the comments. Are you going to get one? Let me know. Before we begin, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for helping me reach my goal of hitting 100 subscribers. I salute you. If you're new to the channel and you like what I do, please like and subscribe. My channel is small, but with your help, we can reach 500 subscribers, and that'll help push my videos out to even more retro lovers out there. Thank you. All right, where was I? So what exactly is the POLYMEGA? Well, the POLYMEGA is a modern console that was designed to play your retro consoles, all in glorious HD. Right out of the box, the POLYMEGA lets you play PlayStation 1, Sega Saturn, Sega CD, TurboGrafx CD, and Neo Geo CD. That's amazing, right? I already have a PlayStation 1 and a Sega Saturn, and I enjoy them quite a lot. But just the idea of having one unit that can play all of my favorite games is very appealing to me. And here's the other thing. I have a handful of Sega CD games, but I don't have a Sega CD. I used to have one growing up, but my brother's birthday was coming up, and I gave him my Sega Genesis along with the Sega CD and about 40 games total. And he was really happy. He loved that birthday. That being said, a lot of these games that I haven't played in years. So it'll be great to finally install them into this machine and give them a go again. With the POLYMEGA, I can go back to having a clean setup. Well, I'll have my PS5, my Xbox, and the POLYMEGA. One console to rule them all. Is that too geeky? Let me know in the comments if you get that reference. Sorry, my ADD is kicking in. So not only can you play those 16 and 32-bit consoles, but you can also expand the POLYMEGA's capabilities by purchasing additional modules that allow you to play other classic systems, such as the Power module for the NES, the Super module for the Super Nintendo or Famicom, Super Famicom as it's known in Japan, the Mega module that lets you play Genesis, otherwise known as Mega Drive games, and the Turbo module that lets you play, can you guess what? TurboGrafx 16, that's right. Oh, and let's not forget, another reason why I bought the POLYMEGA is the Ultra module, which lets you play your Nintendo 64 in glorious HD. Now, I already have a Nintendo 64 and I have an HDMI cable, so why did I get it? Well, like I said, one console to rule them all. Oh, and PlayMagi, if you're watching this and you want to send me any of those additional modules, I'll gladly take them and try them out. Another cool thing about the POLYMEGA is that you can save all of your games onto its built-in hard drive. The hard drive is small on the POLYMEGA, so I highly recommend you take advantage of the ability to expand on your storage by adding either an external hard drive or by purchasing a microSD flash card like I did. I bought a 1 terabyte one. And you know what? I've just been installing games on it all day and all night, and it's been great. Additionally, you can buy an M2 drive and install that right inside the machine, kind of like in your PlayStation 5. It doesn't take very long for the games to install either. Before you know it, you'll have most of your collection all backed up. I'll warn you though, your discs have to be perfect because if there's a decent amount of scratches on your disc, the POLYMEGA will not read them. It'll start to read them, but then it'll spit them out. So kids, that's why it's important to take care of your discs. I'm not trying to sound like an infomercial here, friends. I'm just really excited about this new console. So let's take a look at the interface. It's not too complicated, and it allows you to sort and search through your collection. You even have some display settings. You can select either 1080p or 720p. I'm keeping mine at 1080p. You can even move your games from one drive to the other one quite painlessly. But enough of the technical stuff. I think we're ready to test out some games from my collection. Let's take a look at some of the games that I've installed. Let's start off with the PlayStation. Alright, let's go with Jet Moto 2 to see if the POLYMEGA can keep up with this game's sense of speed. Jet Moto 2 was originally released in 1997. It's a futuristic racing game where you ride hover bikes. One thing that I never understood though is why do these hover bikes sound like they have a muffler? When clearly they are jet powered. I mean, look at the back. It always makes me laugh. The game is fun though, and it actually kind of feels like you're on a jet ski. It's a hover jet ski. Well, I didn't see any issues with this game. That's a great sign. Okay, so let's try one of my favorites growing up, Mega Man 8. This game was released in 1996 by Capcom. This game features classic 2D side-scrolling action. You play as Mega Man and you go through several stages where you fight a boss at the end, and then you gain that boss's power. And you continue to use new powers to fight other bosses. My first Mega Man game ever was Mega Man 2 on the original Nintendo. Ever since then, I've been hooked on Mega Man. Okay, let's try Ridge Racer Type 4. I bought this game brand new when it first came out in 1998. It's one of my favorite racing games on the PS1. You get to pick a racing team, a car manufacturer, and go. I got into the Ridge Racer series when I first played the actual arcade machine for Ridge Racer. I got to shift gears and there were like 3 screens. It was like living in the future back then. God, I miss the arcade at the mall. I'll never understand why they got rid of them. The one by my house was called Aladdin's Castle. Well, so far so good. So let's check out some Saturn games and see how they run on the POLYMEGA. Let's start off with Daytona USA, one of my all-time favorite games, just like I mentioned on my previous video on the Saturn. If you ever played the arcade version, you already know how good this game is. I was in heaven when it came with my original Saturn. This game is iconic and it has a super catchy soundtrack. I used to catch myself singing it all of the time. Even though you can only pick from 3 tracks, you're gonna be obsessed. You can even unlock a horse if you use a cheat code. Another arcade port, Virtua Fighter 2, was originally released in 1994. God, that sounds so long ago. It was ported to the Saturn in 1995. When it first came out, it was ahead of its time, featuring 3D polygon graphics. Gameplay is simple compared to today's standards, but it was still a fun game back then and it's still fun now. The Saturn version is often praised as one of the best arcade to console ports ever created. And if you don't believe me, just go and check out Reddit. Everything here seems to be running as it should. Okay, let's try another game here. How about Sega Touring Car Championship? Sega Touring Car Championship was released in the arcades back in 1996 and on the Saturn in 1997. It was developed by Sega's AM3. You can choose from 4 different cars and race on real-world tracks. I love that you can actually see car damage in this game. Now I'm living in the future, I used to think. Now the Saturn version does not look as good as the arcade version. It was still a lot of fun growing up. It seems to run just as well as I remember. I have a couple of Sega CD games as well, and they run as you would expect. Pretty easy for the POLYMEGA to handle these. Well, good job, POLYMEGA. So going back to our original question, is the POLYMEGA worth buying? Well, the things I like about it for me is that I can not only play my PlayStation 1 games, but also my Sega Saturn games, and they look really good. There's no slowdown or hiccups or anything like that I've noticed. And I don't have to have 2 different consoles set up. I can just have one. I also love the ability where you can add additional storage, so you can keep all of your disc-based games tucked away and protected and just install them on the machine. The other good thing that I liked is that you could expand its capabilities by purchasing additional modules. I can't wait to get my hands on that Nintendo 64 module. Now let's talk about the price. The machine is not cheap with a $549 price tag. Not only that, the modules are going to set you back about $80 a piece. But if you buy all of them in the bundle, that's only going to cost you $800, but still, that's quite a lot of money. Compare that though to buying all of the original systems together, and you'll see that financially, the POLYMEGA makes sense, along with the added bonuses of being able to play the games in HD. And here's the last thing I'm going to say. I know that you can play all these games for free on your computer with emulators. Sure, you can do that. There's also much cheaper devices that plug into your TV. But I really like the concept of the POLYMEGA because it's just easy. It's perfect for people who don't want to mess around with modding different devices and adjusting them and flashing them. I mean, I used to love modding Xboxes back in the day. It was a lot of fun, a lot of troubleshooting. Hell, I even modded my Wii, and I have a complete Nintendo Wii collection on a hard drive. And sometimes we'll bust that out and it's great. But you know what? Not everybody wants to take the time to do all that, put all that together. And I think the POLYMEGA is a great alternative if you just want a machine that you want to just go ahead and start backing up your collection, putting it on there so that you can just easily just play them on your TV. With all that being said, I think the POLYMEGA is worth it if you have the money and you want to save time. Well, thank you so much for watching this video. Now next week, I want to dive into my Nintendo 64 collection and share some of my favorite games. Can you guess what I'm going to talk about? Let me know in the comments. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching this video as much as I enjoyed making it. And if you haven't yet, don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more retro gaming content. Well, that's it for tonight, my friends. My name is Serge, and thanks for watching Polygon Legends. Keep it retro, and I'll catch you on the next one.